Call meeting to order. Meeting for November 7th, 2022, Finance Committee. First of all, we got approval of minutes of October 17th, 2022. I make a motion to approve the minutes of October 27th. As written, did you see? October 17th, October 17th, 2022. No correction to it, I hear a second.
I'm sorry.
All in favor? Invoices for payment totaling $62,623.18. The catch to that is there are no utilities in this month's, these invoices, except for AT&T, which is $780. We've got accounting service, $3,600. Donnie, what is a broom for a chipper?
That's our knives and stuff that go in, and then we got a broom that we use to push in the material.
Make you up a second.
That's only two brooms on it.
We bought a broom.
Yeah.
This is $800 for a broom.
That's where the knives are.
That's for what?
Where your knives are inside of it.
Okay.
We're out that fast.
Yeah, that's,
Good run that thing 5 days a week. Okay, we got $500 sanitation bill, the city attorney got $2,100. Gas for all city vehicles, $46,000. We got police escrow, $16,500. Blue bags was another $1,800. That's a total of $57,000 out of 62. We're gonna leave about $5,000 left for miscellaneous. That being said, one thing you won't find on here is for gas. You want to elaborate on
Sorry.
gas?
What's going on is they're not billing us every other month or every 2 months, 3 months.
No, 3 months.
Every 3 months they're billing us, they're not getting us every time. The problem we're getting ready to have is that we're under contract for the old prices. In December, they're gonna set a new contract price, it'll based on your 2 years. Every 2 years, they set a price, and that's what stays for that entire 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, they renegotiate a price with the same company, and now we're gonna really get hit because of the way gas prices are everywhere. We've been paying $2, I think it was $2.29 a gallon, roughly, right now, but December, hang on, it's coming.
Okay, how about bottled gas?
Oh,
You want to talk bottled gas?
well, the bottled gas, we've been paying anywhere between $150 to $255, I think it was, per month for bottled gas rental, which is your acetylene and your oxygen. And I questioned it years ago, and I started looking into it, and the amount of usage we had on it, I told Donnie to get it back. 30 years, or we've been paying for a helium tank that they've had for 30 years, that has been empty for 30 years. We've been paying for 4 sets, two oxygen, 2 acetylene for every month, so we will not be paying any more to them after this month coming up, because they've got to bill us for the last month and 1 day. So that's gonna be roughly $250 to $300 a month we're gonna save. Now, we are gonna have an expense of going and buying our own bottles and our own torch one time, and the gentleman that I've been talking to will fill it at any point in time for us, as long as it's not out of date. Average date on one of the tanks is 10 years. We've had these tanks sitting around, been filled, I know of one time in the last 10 years, and we've been paying them $300, $250 to $300 a month every month. So $63,000 went for the rental of these equipment over the last 20 years, and we were told it's 30, so I didn't even try to challenge to add that up. But that's an expense we won't have anymore.
What do you think the initial cost?
Less than $1,000.
Okay, so we expect that the next month or so?
Hopefully, yes.
And then that one-time shot?
One-time shot, and then refilling them refilling them, and the average of what we've been using for welding, maybe at the end of 5 years, we'd have to refill them up.
No, we don't have to worry about that. We'll fill them up once and that's it.
Right.
I did the public works director's catches before
I
now.
caught it whenever I was public works director, was bringing it to the people that were in charge, and I was told, now we need to have it on hand at all times. I don't believe we do, because now half the stuff my guys can't weld. Somebody damaged the wheelchair swing up the city park this weekend. We went up and took it apart this morning and took it over to Custom Welding. They're welding it for us for $60.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
Our acetylene oxygen really, what we mainly used that for, wasn't really for welding, it was just for cutting torches. To do that kind of work, we gotta have them for that, but most generally, we don't use it for welding, it's just for cutting. Heat bolts up, the loosen bolts on the big trucks and stuff when we can't get bolts off.
What do you use to tack? Every couple of years?
Like I said, it was 5 years ago before the last one was built. And it was still.
That was a big tank though.
Yeah, it was.
That's a 30 flat top, which is about that tall.
It's called an E-cylinder or something like that.
You said it was 5 years.
At least 5 years since it's been filled up.
Okay.
And I used it quite a bit when I was down there to, like you said, cut stuff, and we had, one guy weld a piece of floor in the bottom of a dump truck so that we could haul gravel and stuff.
So we've got an agreement with this secondary supplier.
I don't have enough, and it in writing, I wanted to talk to you guys about it first to make sure that's something we wanted to do. But I don't see a way out of it. I mean, that's just a perfect.
You gotta have cut torch. You work on any type of rest of equipment.
But you don't have to have.
But there will be no contract with him. We buy the equipment, and when it runs out, we go just take it back to him, he fills it back up, and we pay for the refill.
I don't see any problem with that pay to go. That's the way to go for us, eh?
Right.
If you can get something right,
I can do it.
we'll do it.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we got invoices totaling 62,623.18. I hear a motion. Any more question about
I have a question.
it? Yes, ma'am.
On page 6 of the open invoice listing,
Okay.
right together, we've got, $29 repaired a fire truck. I thought fire trucks were big bucks. And a fixed one, it took big bucks.
What page is this?
It
That
says-
is the,
Barker Service Center.
The tire?
the one where he owed us and then.
Oh, yeah, okay. Mr. Barker, we bought tires, or had the police chief's, brakes replaced. Mr. Barker owed us all but $29 of that money back, and we kept it and credited him for $29 to pay off what the work was, and his bills are paid in full.
Okay.
He agreed to that whenever, he said, could you help me out? I owe you all some money, and if you'll take it off there and just give me whatever's left, and that was $29.
Okay. And then right below it is the police department cruiser tow. It was one of our new ones, one of our old ones.
It's the one that's wrecked.
All that, we got that quick?
Yes,
Yeah, it was one that was involved in the wreck.
Okay.
but is it the older ones or the newer ones?
The new one,
Newer one?
the 20.
It's a newer one.
That would be our fault.
No. It's sitting down in the garage. It's gonna have to be towed again wherever it goes to, but we're gonna let the insurance company deal with that. We had to have it towed from the scene that day. They towed it to our garage until the insurance can get in there and decide where we were gonna take it.
So this was something that happened recently.
Yeah, last week.
Last week.
Okay.
You good?
Mr. Chairman, I'm
Well,
sorry.
a couple of things I did notice on this one. I know it's time to start thinking about new budget. There are a couple of line items here that I don't even know why we have a recycling program. We need to look at that budget and, where's another one? swimming pool. That'd be one we look at.
The swimming pool is waiting on the final say, but the letter has been sent. Gone.
Anyway, there was another one here that I saw somewhere, which I'll get back to you on. It's just, a couple things we need to look at to be realistic about, like, and also private liquor license, I mean, we need to look at that too. I think we're way over on that. Any case. Yes, ma'am. Sure, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we move all the invoices in the total of $62,623.18 to full council for approval and payment.
Favor second. Motion made second, all in favor? Next on the agenda is new business. We don't have a clerk's report. Clerk's not here.
Can I
You may.
ask something? Okay, if you hadn't been down to the garage and saw all those tanks, I mean, they would still be sitting there 60 years from now, probably.
Correct.
Is there
All
any
in
way-
300, 250,
Is there any
300.
way we could go to other departments and see if they've got stuff sitting
I'm
around?
working on
Okay, okay.
it. I'm working on any kind of rental agreement especially, we're gonna be looking hard on it. I mean, when I went down to the city garage and saw those and saw how often they were being used, I brought it to a former mayor's attention and I was told we had to have it in case of emergency.
When we started that rental agreement, that's back when we had 6 mechanics, we'd run a night shift and a day shift, and we were using that stuff. I mean, hardly anything went out to be fit. So that's when all that started, and it just, as it went on, more stuff started to go out, and we only had 1 mechanic there. It just, but before, I mean, it was.
I understand
Great
there's
thing
stuff
before.
being collected, but every once in a while you gotta go through it and weed it out.
We're looking at all these stuff.
Okay, thank you.
That it?
Yep.
New business. We got to accept asbestos removal for 1256 West Virginia Avenue. That's the burnt house. First one here is Prime for 1,292. Craft for 1524, and Aztec is 1,600. Other than those three, they all get kind of expensive.
Yeah.
$2,900, $3,000. Prime. Do you know anything about Prime?
Yeah, we've been doing asbestos for
That's what I
years.
thought.
What is that third-party air clearance?
What we have to do is, when you do asbestos removal inside of a house, you have to have somebody, if you're not going to tear it down within 24 hours, you have to have somebody come in and do an air quality test.
Okay.
So all we have to do is, unbeknownst to Matt, is have his excavator over there, so when they take the asbestos out the next day, we tear the house down.
Okay, the low bid is Prime, 1292. Next in line is 1524. Is there a motion going somewhere with this?
Have you worked with either one of them here?
We have, I've not worked with Prime, but they have been in business a long time.
Yep.
I also have them scheduled for another house down on Dunbar Avenue, from the auditor. This is about as simple as removal as you can do. It's a linoleum floor. You take a circular saw in there and cut the floor loose and roll it up and haul it out. Really easier than that. I would just go low bid on it.
Probably normally does large industrial removal.
That's probably they bid on.
I'm surprised they did a job like this myself.
Well, they actually asked us to start including them. So
Did they? Well,
I think when all the plants went out around here, kind of put a damper on some of the industrial.
Been around for a long time.
yeah, well,
Yes, it has. I make a motion, we accept the bid from Prime Incorporated for the removal of asbestos linoleum from 1256 West Virginia Avenue, and send it on the full council.
The bid amount of $1,292.
Yeah.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
The motion, second, all in favor? Next is approval payment of the Regional Intergovernmental Council for membership as an annual event. An annual fee of $1,835.53. Happens every year.
Yep.
So move. Mayor, second.
I second.
All in favor?
Uh,
That's all we've got on the agenda. Anybody got anything else they want to bring up from council on finance?
I will tell you that, 1256, Steve's been working with, Rocket Mortgage.
Rocket Mortgage has agreed to convey the property to the city for nothing, but they wanted an indemnity agreement that they would not be responsible for any remediation and demolition. So I did an agreement that said, no, we're fully responsible for the remediation and mediation. I'll send that to Rocket. In fact, we finished up and polished it today. I'll send that to Rocket, email that to Rocket in the morning. I would hope that by the end of the week, we're done.
Okay, good. Good to get that thing cleaned up. We still need to work on those two parcels of property that we have the opportunity to get rid of. The one on 23rd Street.
22nd Irwin's, the Irvins, or are you talking about the alleyways?
I guess it's the alleyway down there on 23rd.
The old Penny Jarvis property?
No.
That's the alleys.
200 block of 23rd Street.
Okay. So there's two abandoned houses.
That's the one that you said we had to do. Did we
Well-
do something?
The issue is, if the city sells it, they gotta get into a bidding process, publication and all that. If it's conveyed to the land use, which we create, then they could sell it to the property owner who wants to purchase it. As long as it's purchased at fair market value.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, the question is, as I understand it, there's no deal. Nobody knows who owns it.
Right, that's the old right away for the sewer. What's the guy's name?
Carl Lindsay.
Yeah, Carl, beside of Carl Lindsay.
That's not city property.
It's abandoned city property,
Right, well, the city,
but there's no deed to it.
but there's been no official abandonment.
Correct.
As long as there's no official, if the city creates Dunbar Avenue, we could say we're not going to reuse Dunbar Avenue, but 100 years from now, it still belongs to the city until we officially abandon. So the process would be A, first to abandon, B, convey it to the land use, and then 3, go to the property owner and says, here's what we've evaluated the fair market value at. If they're willing to pay that, then that's done.
We need to get moving with the paperwork on this so we can get rid of that. I mean, the guy wants it. I don't know if anybody else would have any use for it at all, because it's right next to his house, so.
I have no problem with that.
Anybody got anything else? I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman?
I got a little bad news from Tracy up on the Mark Road sewer project, stormwater project,
Okay.
where the old mayor just stuck anything and everything in the ground. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he pulled out about a 14 to 15 foot piece of, appears to be either a heat exchanger or a smokestack that has asbestos in it. And it weighs about 8,000 pounds.
And
You contacted them to test it.
They came out and tested it today. I'll have a result tomorrow, and we'll have to go from there.
So it has asbestos in it?
Everywhere there's a port into the actual tube, it's an open, steel opening lined with asbestos.
So the whole tank spot is just the inlet?
We don't know for sure.
Oh, okay.
So we chipped some other stuff. It looks like a lot of it on the outside is fiberglass, but till they get the official lab results back, and I told them to rush it. So,
is it still in the ground?
no, it's sitting on the ground. So, if we're lucky, there's only the ends of it that have asbestos. And, we might be able to take a cutting torch up there, and cut it. We can get some gas.
You let me cut torches anymore.
We'll take the saws on. So, I don't know how much that's gonna cost, because the dumps go by weight.
that, you also have to haul it to Ashland, Kentucky.
Right, just gotta go to Ashland, Kentucky.
See if you can have everything together by next council meeting.
Oh, yeah, I hope to have everything together by the end of the week.
Next council meeting, clean that up. Okay.
And he will be done with that project. He's, Wednesday, he's putting the, last drop in. Should be done by mid next week.
You gonna just put it back to the ground and forget about it?
No, unfortunately, I called Charles Maxwell, who's an asbestos guy for him, so told him about it.
But once you disturb it, that's it.
Yeah, once it's out, it's out.
Mr. Chairman, we're good in the order. If there's no other city financial business, I move we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
How long is that?
All in favor?
How long?
About 14 or 15 now.